Yo, y'all thought I wasn't finna make it. Bro, I told you every day I'm here. But listen, this is a bit of a different video. It still is talking about the brand. It's still talking about the things that I dropped, but I seen damn, I was literally just hooping in these. Man, I almost got a hole in it now. Damn near and shit. They still hold me down though. But I gotta chill. But this video is about the reason why limiting your stock when you have your brand and you're building from the bottom up, especially if you're independently funded, is it's important to being able to scale without taking serious losses. Now, what does that mean? That means, so look, of everything I ever made, the first thing that I ever did before I did any sort of bulk order, because manufacturers will try to do you. They'll try to tell you our MOQ is, 50 pieces. Some will try to get a big bag out of you off the dribble. But the method is, right, obviously a lot of y'all know this, but I'm saying it, I'm doing this for dummies. Like if you were just some fool who never did anything with a brand, never heard of starting a brand, none of this type of stuff, right? That's how I'm talking about it. So you tell your manufacturer that you want to do samples, right? And you get a sample of, maybe all your sizes, whatever colors you want to do, things of that nature, right? You get your samples in, maybe 2 large, 2 XL, 2 medium, whatever, right? And then you get your samples in, and then when you get your samples in, and you sell them. You know what I mean? You sell them because, one, you want to see how people they take to your stuff, how your stuff does, quality assurance, see if work on your ability to sell, but also see if your stuff is good and see if it sells, see if people like it. And the reason why I have these hoodies on the screen is because that's exactly what I did. These were my samples, and it was the same as the finished product, but these are my samples, and I sold these around the city in order to, practice my selling and just to see how they would do. And I continue to do this for everything. The reason why it helps with scalability is because when you order your samples and okay, your samples, they sell, you do well, you save that money, and then you do your bulk order. Maybe you do a smaller size instead of, some people, they order a big bulk of something, right? And then they just try to sell everything, which is, is good. But if you want to diversify, you do smaller amounts, right? Maybe you do, if you got 2 colors, you do a bulk of 50. You do 25 of each one, of each color, 5 of each size or whatever. And then you go out the trunk. You sell them at whatever markup you're going to sell them at. Market them online, at a limited, with limited quantity. And you make your bread and you profit up a little bit. You save your money. And then you move on to the next thing. The reason why it helps with scalability as opposed to taking on a big, load of clothes and trying to move a big load before you have customers is because it just helps you iron out the kinks of your brand. So whether you're practicing designing, you're working on trying to figure out the best materials, maybe you're trying to figure out, you're still ironing out the kinks and figuring out your logistics. If you come in at a smaller scale, say you sell out, you'll still profit a good amount as a invested individual, right? You may be, instead of when you may spend like around 2 bands for however much for your small bulk order, but say you make 10 back, you know what I mean? You profited 8, that's still a good profit margin. Or you profit even 7 back, that's still 5 bands profit. That's still a good profit margin, right? So you're building slowly. You just got to make sure you manage your money correctly and you be patient. It's going to take time to get all of it off. You're not always going to just get it all off, even if you're already popular on Instagram. And the reason why is because I always say your friends are not your fans. So coming in at a limited quantity is really good because it helps with your practicing your ability to sell, ironing out the kinks of your brand logistically, figuring out what you need. You know what I mean? If you have a website, figuring out the issues with having a website, like the troubleshooting of having a website, and you just learning. You know what I mean? You're just learning. So highly recommend that you come in and limit your supply at first and work your way up. You know what I mean? But make sure you go hard. Don't take it as don't come in with like limited quality and quantity and then get like kind of lazy or act like you got plenty of time. You got to move it as urgently as if you invested 100K. You got to move it just as urgently. Don't play with your, trust your dope every time. And if it doesn't move and you sit on it, it's not that huge of a loss. Not only that, but you can archive some pieces, and then you can use those pieces later on for maybe affiliate marketing, right? If you want to reach out to creators or whatever the case, you won't be taking as big of a loss. You may have taken a loss, but you won't take as big of a loss. So closing is this: do not go out, right, and approach this like, yo, I'm about to get rich quick and I'm about to go viral off my first piece. If it happens, it'll happen organically. The people choose, okay? But do put out all of your good ideas. Do not hold on to and sandbag on things that you're not sure about, because those are the ideas that hit every time. Like the Scullies, I ain't thinking nothing of them, but those were the ones that ended up doing very well for me. So release, make sure you put things out, make sure you interact with your community, but really milk the samples game. Market, interact with your fan base, ask them questions. Do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? What color would you want to see this in? You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to model some of your own stuff. Don't be afraid if you don't have any friends to help with commercials and stuff. Don't be afraid to just model your own stuff. You know what I mean? Even today, don't be afraid to use AI. They have some really good AI tools if you're able to take good photos of your stuff. And you can use AI to design on different models, right? Sometimes it's not that good, but you can use AI to generate pictures of characters wearing your stuff. Who knows? You might be able to come up with a mascot through AI. You never know. So get creative with what you have. Sometimes less is more. You know what I mean? Be resourceful. So with that being said, I hope that helped somebody. Whoever watched this video, I hope I was able to help you. And think outside the box. Be resourceful. Be patient. And really milk your samples. Once you get a product, you can present it any way you want, and there's an advantage in that. You know what I mean? Because you can create exactly the type of look you're looking for, and then once it hit, boom, then you go ahead and you press the red button. Now if you take an L, right, like I said, I did those puffers. I came on a little bit late in the season, did okay, but took kind of an L. You know what I mean? I didn't hit my goal, but we still moved some units. So I would like to have done more. My goal is 100 units. I didn't quite hit 100 units, but it's still enough to say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and still order. I'm able to order in bulk and get those shipped out to the people who ordered them. Shout out to Japan. Y'all went hard for me. I appreciate y'all. Got to get out there to really tap it with my market, because it seems like they're the ones that keep finding me. So I gotta go. You know what I mean? But the power of samples and presenting your product in the right type of ways are everything. Because you don't have to sit on a mountain of product before you know who's looking to buy it. That doesn't make sense. So anyways, I'll catch you on the next video. I'm gone.